Once upon a time, I used to play PvP shooters to relax. I know, an absurdity now, but it was the truth. Back then, I got my ass kicked every so often, popped off on rare occasion, and yes, once in a blue moon, had a nail biter of a competitive match. However, most matches in my games of choice back in the day, they were laid back, second nature affairs. I just played and didn't really have to think about it much. That's not to say I didn't or don't enjoy more thoughtful experiences that require team coordination and communication, right? And just an overall more tactical sense. But that's not what Halo and COD were for me. They were my no stress fun games. Now that isn't the case anymore. Gone are the days of playing ranked if you wanted to have a sweaty experience with players around your skill. Now that's forced upon you, but worse, in a way that disregards context. Additionally, in some cases, developers implement gameplay mechanics to specifically inhibit a player's skill. So today I'm going to take a deep dive into skill and the errors that game devs have trying to analyze it, as well as propose my simple solution to the problem. It's not perfect, but I think it strikes a reasonable middle ground. Okay, but first, what is skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM for short? Well, it's not one thing. It's a generic name given to a load of different systems from a bunch of different developers that attempt to achieve the same thing. Keep matches fair by way of skill. That goal is actually a pretty noble one in my opinion, but it operates under a faulty assumption. In trying to keep matches fair, the developers of these games want you to match with people the same skill as you. And that is the first and main flaw with the system, as skill is intangible. Skill is not something that can be quantified, especially because skill and talent aren't static and can change on a moment-to-moment basis. That is to say, it's impossible to determine skill. So, how are developers actually matching players? Well, with numbers. In other words, it's never been skill-based matchmaking, but statistics-based matchmaking. Yes, I do understand that statistics can help determine average player performance. However, that totally discounts how inconsistent human behavior and performance can be, especially if what the human is doing is meant to be for leisure. What's worse is that this system can make changes on a match-to-match basis in some games, which means you'll not ever really get a consistent set of matches to be judged by, and it definitely will be a different experience for every player. So, in games like COD and Halo, everyone is given a secret hidden number, essentially, tied to your performance average, or skill, as they might label it, and you're only matched with people with a similar number. That said, the mentioned inconsistency in behavior between player performances across matches causes an inconsistency in how that secret number is determined. So, basically, everyone is being measured by a different ruler. Like, imagine if you had to play a basketball game with people who are all 6. And while you're 6 foot tall, you handsome devil, some people you're playing against are 6 inches tall or 6 meters tall. Everyone's 6 tall, but the way everyone did the measurement was different. That's basically the situation with SBMM. The matches people play are the ruler, and the matches are different for each player, so the hidden SBMM numbers may match, but they aren't equal. Now, before I go on to recommend a solution, I just want to get on my soapbox and point out a particularly annoying, in my humble opinion, way of skill checking your entire player base that 343 Industries and Epic Games are particularly fond of. If you have a game and you want to make sure talented players can't dominate too well, what do? If you have a game and you want to ensure that bad players win every once in a while, what do? Well, the answer for those two occurrences is the same. You add elements of randomness and chance to all of your engagements. See, this trend I think started on accident back in 2007 when Bungie made Halo 3. The Halo game with perhaps the best campaign, but in my opinion, the worst gunplay. Halo 3 was the first game in the franchise to implement projectile weapons. See, before that, guns were hit scan, meaning that they instantly hit whatever you were aiming at. And in the case of precision weapons, your shots were also pretty accurate. Halo 3's bullets now were projectiles, which meant that they had travel time. And a lot of it. Definitely more than real guns. During this travel time, your target could just move out of the way. So you would want to lead your shots. Well, that wasn't as easy because Bungie added a ton of projectile spread to the weapons, meaning now, and to this day in the case of Halo Infinite, even if you're perfectly accurate, your shots can and will miss. This allows situations where, for example, you, the better player, have me dead to rights, but when you fire your gun for the final shot, it just misses, despite your perfect accuracy. And I, the bad player, having my reticle off to the side, get lucky, and my shot hits you even though my aim is off. That's what a game hopes for. And it's that exact situation where the bad player wins by sheer luck. But honestly, it doesn't feel that great for either player. When I've been that bad player accidentally winning, I've never felt like I've done it. It always felt like the better player just got unlucky as we were both hoping for RNG to win the engagement. Fortnite, from my recollection, also suffers from this with slow weapons and inconsistent firing and shot grouping, but who knows, maybe that's been fixed since the last time I played. What I know for certain is titles like Call of Duty and Apex Legends, they don't have these problems, they have tight gunplay, and they have large player bases. So hopefully Halo Infinite and Fortnite can follow their examples and learn that bad gunplay is a detriment to everyone, or not just good players. With that very personal grievance out of the way, back to SBMM, as this issue plagues pretty much any modern shooter. How do we try and keep matches fair without matching based on performance averages? Well, it's simple. Shift to experience-based matchmaking. Match people who are close together in playtime and level. That way people would play against their peers in terms of game knowledge and experience. This would also prevent situations like mine, where after I did okay in a match of Husky Raid in Halo Infinite, it placed me against a guy with over 4,000 games in a match of CTF. Unsurprisingly, I did much worse, no longer spawning with power weapons, and he absolutely kicked my team's butt. It was a slaughter, and it was caused by skill-based matchmaking. Additionally, have it so that experience rank, as I'm going to call this, deteriorates after a time of inactivity. That way someone returning to the game after a while doesn't immediately get stomped. Then just give them an accelerated path back to their experience rank after just a few warm-up matches. This system will still allow for the fun variance of matching without SBMM, and for new players, it puts them in lobbies where they can learn the game without pressure. Yeah, you'll still get your butt kicked from time to time with this system, but at least it would be a butt kicking from your peers, not someone who has dedicated a lot of time and energy mastering the game, unless that's also you. So to wrap things up, I want to acknowledge that my recommendation is not perfect, nor expansive. It's an idea that would need to be tailored to each particular game it's implemented in, and to each player base. Obviously, smaller games might not have the population to be able to spread players apart like that. But in instances like that, I'd reckon that the game's population is also too small for SBMM. And issues like partying up with friends or how to determine what playtime numbers to group together still need solving before any game could implement a system like this. However, I stand firm in my belief that this system is much friendlier than SBMM and could usher in the return of casual gaming. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know what you want to see next. Bye.